Have you ever found yourself in a position where you looked in front of you and said, it's impossible? Ever have that? It's impossible. I can't do it. It's impossible. How is a small little country going to win a war on multiple fronts and face an enemy that's hidden in tunnels? How is a nation going to deal with hatred and anti-Semitism that is completely irrational amongst people that we thought would never do this? How can I deal with the kids in my life, my children that need much more than I can give? You ever have this? People are engaged in tragedy, in challenge, in difficulty, and they look at it and go, it's impossible. No, literally, it's impossible. How do they do it? So this week's Torah portion, this week's parsha tells us a secret. Listen to this. It's unbelievable. This week's parsha is Parshas Noach. The story of Noach is there was a generation that went completely crazy. Noach's generation was completely corrupt. Everyone and everything. And for whatever reason, in God's wisdom, he needed to reset the world. One man and his family were above the rest, Noach and his family. And God said, we're starting again with you, Noach. And here's what I'm doing. I'm bringing a flood to wipe everybody out. I need you to build an ark, build a teva, put all the animals on the teva, and we will start again after the flood. And he commands him to build a specific type of ark. It was a 300 amos by 50 by 30, which, understand what that is, 500 feet around by 85 by 50, right? That's a football and a half, football field and a half, 4-story house, 85 feet across, right? That's larger than any boat at the time. That's before Home Depot and Lowe's, before construction. You can't subcontract this out. There's no lumber yard. You get the hammers, saws, cranes, none of that stuff. He's chopping down trees. That's impossible for a man to do it. Not only that, he had to put on thousands of species. And as big as this thing was, zoos, which have a portion of these animals, are acres. This is an impossible task times an impossible task. Why doesn't God just make it easier? If he wants to wipe out the world, I don't know, there's a mountain over here. No, I'll just go to this mountain. It's not going to take 120 years to do it. Just take all the animals and climb up the mountaintop, and I'll just deal with the bottom. God couldn't have come up with 1,000 easier ways to reset humanity than to have Noah spend 120 years doing the impossible, only to be done with an ark that has the impossible task of housing all the species? Why make it so difficult for? Listen to this insight. It's from a commentator named Rabbeinu Bachaya, and here's what he says. I'll read you the quote. He asks, why would he do this if it's impossible to fill all these animals onto the table, onto the ark? And here's what he says. It's a line that if you hold on to in your mind, it can change the way you see the world. Here's how it is. Ki derech haTorah, he says, is the way of Torah, which means it's the way of God. Letzavo says Adam, to command humanity. Sheyase kol yecholto, that you should do everything in your power, but derech hateva, through nature, u'mashiachzar, and what's lacking, what's missing, hateva, bahem yashlim hanes. You know why God did it this way? Because God is teaching us a lesson. I'm going to put impossible in front of you. This is the derech haTorah, the way of the Jewish path, the way of the Torah path is what's before you is impossible. It's impossible to survive in exile for 2,000. It is impossible to rebuild a state. It is impossible to rebuild a world after the Holocaust. It is impossible to raise these kids, to make this money, to deal with this tragedy, to deal with this. It's impossible. It is. It is naturally impossible. That's your life. I don't need you to do it. I'll tell you what I need you to do. Put in your full effort. You're under the bench. I'm putting more weight than you can handle. I don't need you to lift it off. I need you to push it as hard as you can off with every bit of your strength, and I'll raise the rest through a hidden miracle through you or through a revealed miracle. God is giving us the recipe of how we survive in this world. He puts before us the impossible, and we look at it and go, there's no way we can do this. That's not my job. My job is to be fully engaged in it, to do everything in my power, to push my limits beyond what I thought was possible. God sees that, and he fills in the rest with a miracle. Everyone in our lives, every one of us, has something before us that seems like it's beyond us. That's normal. That's how it works. And if you look at it and go, it's impossible, and walk the other way, you're missing it. What God wants is you to look at it and go, it's impossible. Now I'm going 110%. And when God sees that, we're learning from the story of Noach. He is mashlim. He fills up the rest in miracle, and we get it done. If you look at the miracle of the Jewish people, it's not God splitting seas in front of us. It's God operating through us. And whatever each of us, whatever you're going through, if it seems impossible, that's normal. Just engage in it. Push yourself to the max. Try your hardest. And if it's supposed to be, God will fill it in with a miracle.